Hi everyone, I'm Trina Sunday, the CEO of Reimagine HR. And whilst we are trying not to jump on the bandwagon or the hype that is the COVID-19 coronavirus pandemic, it's really important actually that we have some conversations about the impact on business and our teams and some of the things that we need to do as leaders. So this is a tough time for business. You know, you've got business that's trying to drive smooth operations whilst simultaneously planning for the disruption that's going to come from the virus, both internally and externally. And we've got major industries, that are already starting to see a massive impact in terms of, the cessation of movement of people and people not coming together. So whether it's sport or cinema or travel or, anything like that, where people are really staying home. And that's something that's having a big impact. So that's really worrying for business leaders right now. But at the same time, and whilst dealing with all of that, we need to think about our teams, we need to think about our people. So we've all got workplaces that are full of different personalities, people made up of, they're wired differently, think differently. People have varying levels of anxiety about the virus. And it's something that, it's an Australian way, we make fun, we, kind of keep things light. It's part of who we are. But at the same time, there's some people that don't want this to be laughed about, that some people are needing some reassurance because they are genuinely anxious about what is happening. And so as leaders, we need to be making sure that we are communicating and engaging with our teams. We need to know when people might be lacking the self-awareness to know that their anxiety might actually be getting in the way. Work's being disrupted, they can't focus, spending 4 hours a day on Google and reading everything about the COVID-19 virus, and maybe acting and behaving beyond what the public authorities are telling us is necessary at this time. So, whilst we can be cautiously worried about what's happening, the key is to follow what the government guidelines are, whether that's, not travelling, delaying non-essential travel, self-quarantining. Our key as leaders is to make sure people are informed about that. We have a major responsibility to make sure that information is understood by our teams and our workforce, because we have a responsibility as leaders to minimise the transmission of the virus in our workplaces. And so we need to make sure that people know that they can stay home. As leaders, this is a really key time to be moving very quickly to reconsider some of our policies. So looking at the work from home policy, where can we step up remote work arrangements? Looking at your sick leave policy, where can we have more flexibility around extended sick leave? Some people's family circumstances are being impacted by this if caring options are suddenly off the table because of some of the measures that are being put in place by childminding or childcare, or impact from aged care. Goes from both sides. And so look at those policies, but we need to do stuff fast, and we need to be considered, but the key is to be communicating. So communicating with our people, understanding that if people are anxious, that they've got an avenue to talk to their manager, to their leader about that, and that we've got some ways of helping them to either alleviate the anxiety by being more informed about a situation, or giving them access to potentially more flexible work options. And we do a lot of work in terms of training leaders in terms of having virtual teams. So we've actually got quite a lot of clients coming to us now for help in terms of setting up remote teams, upskilling their leaders. So some of their leaders haven't managed remote workforces before. So we're not the ones on the tech side of remote-based work. We're not talking to you about, Trello, Zoom, Loom, or Microsoft Teams, or all of your technical aspects. We're in the people business. So we want to be talking to you about the human element, what practices need to change, the fact that not everyone is adaptable to working from home. So for some people that causes anxiety because they need structure. They need people around them. They need that kind of access in terms of what's happening. So we need to understand that, and we need to, as leaders, make sure that we can manage virtual arrangements. So that's something we're actually doing a lot of work on suddenly, which wasn't a focus at the time. but now it is. And so if that's something you need, you can reach out to us through the website. But I guess the key thing is to make sure that you are talking to your people, keeping people informed, making sure that, you know, we have access to supplies, more flexible ways of working, and that we kind of reinforce our commitment to looking after our teams and supporting them through this transition, even if you don't and are not experiencing the same degree of anxiety as other people in your workplace. Don't be dismissive of it. It's actually a real challenge. And if people are feeling anxious and that's causing concern, that's going to be having a real impact on both their work productivity and their personal life. So look for that, look for changes in behaviour, look for bad behaviour. So we're seeing a rise of some, you know, racism in terms of workplaces, and, you know, people jesting around different nationalities and ethnicities, given where the virus originated or what's happening, and you know, so I think just be on to that, you know, be continuing to reinforce your values that you have in terms of people working together, and, you know, trying to be respectful and all that good stuff, you know, all the fuzzy stuff that people talk about from a HR perspective, but it's really, really important. So it's making sure we're not isolating anybody because of their race. It's making sure that we are not isolating people if we are moving to remote work arrangements. It's a time that you need to rally, and some people need more rallying around them than others. So be aware of that. Talk to your teams. Make sure that you communicate. And if there's anything we can help you with, reach out to Reimagine HR. Thank you.